There is a very specific kind of tiredness that is hard to explain. Work was not that intense. Nothing dramatic happened. The day was normal. And yet, by the time the door closes at night, there is a strange heaviness in the body. The mind feels foggy. The chest feels full. The energy is simply gone. Sometimes, that exhaustion does not actually belong to the life that was lived that day. It belongs to the lives of the people around. This video is about the invisible weight of carrying other people's unprocessed emotional baggage. The weight that comes from absorbing anxiety, grief, anger, confusion, and fear that do not originate inside, but end up living there anyway. For many, this pattern is so familiar that it is mistaken for empathy, for being a good person, for being the strong one. But there is a difference between being present with someone's pain and quietly taking responsibility for it. That difference is the line between a heart that can truly help and a nervous system that slowly burns out. Think about a moment like this. A friend sits down and starts talking. At first it is just venting. A bad week, a complicated relationship, a fear about the future. The conversation stretches. Details get heavier. The body across the table deflates as they speak. When the moment finally ends, something odd is noticed. They seem lighter. They stand up with more ease. There is color in their face again, but the weight did not disappear. It moved. It slid across the table and settled into the shoulders that were listening. The friend goes home. Sleep comes easily for them. For the one who listened, the night is restless. This is the mirror trap. The human brain has cells that respond when someone else moves, feels, or expresses. These mirror responses are the foundation of empathy. They allow the inner world to resonate with the outer world. They allow connection, understanding, attunement. But when that resonance is combined with porous boundaries, something subtle and costly happens. Instead of simply reflecting the other person's state for a moment and then returning to a baseline, the nervous system begins to copy and keep it. The energy shifts as if the nervous system says, if this is how you feel, then this is how we feel now too. At first, this can look like kindness, crying with someone, feeling tense when someone else is anxious, staying up late thinking about their problem, searching for solutions they never asked for. Over time, it becomes something else. The body is carrying the weight of multiple lives at once. The parent's unprocessed sadness, the partner's unspoken fears, the friend's ongoing crisis, the coworker's stress, the sibling's disappointment. None of these emotions were fully faced and owned where they began, so they drifted to the nearest open container. The open container is the person who cannot stand to see others in pain without taking some of that pain inside. Emotional baggage is simply emotional experience that has not been processed, integrated, and accepted by the person it belongs to. It is grief that was never fully felt, anger that was never safely expressed, fear that was never brought into the light, shame that was never spoken. Unprocessed, it does not dissolve. It is carried, consciously or not. Some people carry it in their own bodies. Others offload it onto anyone who will absorb. Long monologues, constant drama, subtle emotional manipulation, or simply existing in a permanent state of crisis without ever seeking real help. All of these are ways of handing the suitcase to someone else for a while. If the nervous system is highly sensitive, attuned, and not well defended, it will pick up that suitcase. And the price is real. The first price is physical. The muscles around the shoulders and neck stay tight. Headaches appear without clear cause. The stomach is frequently unsettled. Sleep is not deep. The body is in a quiet, constant state of being on duty for everyone. The second price is mental. It becomes difficult to tell what is actually being felt. Are these emotions arising from this life, this day, these events? Or are they echoes of someone else's heartbreak, someone else's fear, someone else's anger? Thoughts circle around problems that are not really this person's responsibility. Scenarios are rehearsed that belong to other people's choices. The mind becomes a storage room for stories that were never theirs to live, and certainly not theirs to fix. The third price is spiritual. The sense of self begins to blur. The identity slowly shifts into something like, I am the one who holds everything for everyone. I am the strong one. I am the safe place. On the surface, that can look noble, but under it, there is often a deep and quiet sadness. Because if energy is always used to maintain other people's emotional stability, there is very little left to explore the questions that belong to this soul. What do I want? What do I feel? What is my path? What lights me up? The mechanics of this psychic weight are simple and relentless. When someone is in pain and not willing or able to fully feel it themselves, that pain tries to move. It leaks through words, tone, body language, silence, and behavior. A sensitive person, especially one who was trained early in life to monitor the moods of others for safety, will detect that pain instantly. If the belief inside is, "It is my job to make sure everyone is okay," then the nervous system will open its doors. The body becomes like a storage unit. You do not want to feel your anger? Leave it here. You cannot deal with your fear? I will hold it. You cannot face your grief? I will take some of it so you don't have to. From the outside, this looks like empathy. On the inside, it feels like slow suffocation. So how is it possible to tell when empathy has crossed the line into unhealthy absorption? One way is to notice how the body feels after leaving someone's presence. Does the body feel heavier, slower, more drained, even if nothing personally difficult was shared? Is there a habit of needing to lie down, scroll aimlessly, or numb out after listening to certain people? Does anxiety spike without a clear inner cause, simply from being in particular environments? Another way is to listen to the type of thoughts that appear. Are there long internal arguments being held with people in their absence? Are imaginary conversations being rehearsed to fix things for them? Are decisions being pre-lived on their behalf? That is not empathy. That is ghostwriting. Ghostwriting someone else's life means quietly beginning to think, plan, carry, and decide as if their journey were the responsibility here. It is silently writing chapters for them they have not chosen to write themselves. There is tenderness at the root of this pattern. Often, it began long before adulthood. Maybe there was a parent whose emotions were unpredictable, so the child learned to constantly scan the room and adjust themselves to keep things calm. Maybe there was a caregiver who was depressed, so the child became the little therapist, without any training and without any choice. Maybe love was given most generously when the child was useful, helpful, and emotionally available. In systems like these, the nervous system learns a painful equation. If others are okay, I am safe. If others are not okay, it is dangerous. That belief does not vanish just because childhood ends. In adult life, the same pattern shows up as the savior complex, a chronic sense of responsibility for everyone's emotional state, a subtle superiority in being the strong one, and deeper down, a fear that if boundaries are set, love will be withdrawn. This is where boundary work stops being a concept and becomes an act of courage. Boundaries are not just about saying no to requests. They are about saying no to emotional transfers that were never meant to happen. A porous boundary says, if you feel it, I must feel it too. A healthy boundary says, I can feel with you without becoming you. So how can this shift begin practically? The first step is a simple audit. Without blaming anyone, quietly observe. With whom does energy always drop? In which relationships does the nervous system go into vigilance? At work, in family, in friendships, in romantic connection, where does the body brace itself before a conversation even begins? Writing down those names and contexts, honestly, can be confronting, but it makes patterns visible. The second step is to notice the stories that hold the pattern in place. If I don't answer immediately, they will fall apart. If I don't listen for hours, I am selfish. If I set a limit, they will leave. If I don't carry this, no one will. Some of these stories might have been true in the past, especially in childhood. Many are no longer true now, but the nervous system does not know that yet. Seeing these sentences on paper allows a question to be asked. Is this a fact? Or is this a fear from another time? The third step is what might be called energetic hygiene. Just as the body is washed after a long day, the nervous system can be rinsed. This can be as simple as a brief moment after a heavy interaction, placing a hand on the chest or stomach and quietly saying inside, "This is not mine to keep." Imagining, if helpful, the stress leaving the body like dust and water flowing down a river, returning to a larger field that can hold it. Not because the other person is being abandoned, but because carrying their pain in the body does not actually heal them. It only depletes the one who is carrying it. Breath can be used intentionally here. A slow, deep inhale through the nose, feeling the air enter the body, counting to 4. A long exhale through the mouth, counting to 6 or 8, imagining the borrowed weight leaving with it. Repeating this a few times physically signals the nervous system that it can return to its own baseline. The fourth step is language. Many who carry others' emotions have never learned how to speak from a place that honors their limits without rejecting the other. Phrases like, "I care about you and I want to listen, but I don't have the capacity for a long conversation right now. Can we talk about this tomorrow or with someone who can support you more deeply?" This sounds very heavy. Have you considered talking to a therapist or counselor who can really hold this with you? "I want to be here for you, but I also need to protect my own energy." Let's take this step by step. These sentences can feel unnatural at first, even wrong. Guilt may arise. Fear might come up. That is the old pattern trying to keep its familiar role. But over time, something interesting happens. Respect grows. The people who are capable of healthy relationship will adjust. They may even feel relieved because the unspoken dynamic is finally being named. The people who are only interested in having a free emotional storage unit may drift away. It can hurt when that happens. And it can also be the moment life starts to feel lighter. The fifth step is to consciously invest energy that was once used to carry others back into the life that is actually here. The hours once spent overthinking someone else's choices can be used to explore what truly brings joy, curiosity, and peace in this one. The emotional bandwidth once spent holding up other adults can be redirected into creating, resting, learning, or simply being. Far from making a person selfish, this reclaiming often makes them more genuinely helpful. Because when the nervous system is not constantly overloaded, presence becomes deeper. Listening becomes cleaner. Advice, when asked for, becomes less about fixing and more about truly seeing. There is more patience, more clarity, and less quiet resentment. A lighter inner load makes space not only for personal goals and dreams, but also for a more grounded, sustainable form of support for others. The ultimate shift is this: moving from my emotional state is dictated by everyone around me, to my emotional state is primarily guided by my own reality, and I choose when and how to connect with others in a way that honors us both. This does not mean closing the heart. It means closing the leaks. Empathy does not require self-erasure. Compassion does not require becoming a sponge. Love does not require carrying what another refuses to face. Stand in front of these questions for a moment. Whose emotions are being carried right now that do not actually belong here? Whose expectations, fears, or disappointments are still inside the body, shaping choices, even when they are not in the room? What would be possible if that weight was gently put down? Not all at once, not in a dramatic cut, but piece by piece, interaction by interaction, boundary by boundary. There is a kind of freedom available when energy is no longer being spent holding stories that were never meant to be written in this nervous system. It is the freedom of individual growth, the freedom to feel what is truly felt, to want what is truly wanted, to move in the direction that this life is quietly asking for. If this exploration touched something familiar, subscribing keeps these reflections close for the days when other people's emotions feel especially loud. Liking this video helps it find those who are exhausted and do not yet realize they are carrying weight that is not theirs. Sharing it with someone who is always the strong one might offer them a language for a burden they have never named. And in the comments, simply naming one relationship or situation where too much has been carried can be the first step toward finally putting some of it down.